Start. Oh, thank you.
Bro.
The December 2nd, 2025 meeting of Canada Development Corporation is called to order. Do we have anyone sign up for public comments?
We do not.
Okay, thank you very much. Item number 4, minutes, consideration of and action on the minutes of July 1, 2025 meeting.
Move to approve.
Okay, any comment? All in favor, say aye. Any against? Okay. Item number 5, workshop, economic development and tourism. Review of and discussion on current and future economic development and tourism programs. We have Elizabeth Huff, Director of Economic Development and Tourism. Elizabeth.
Good afternoon, President, Directors, Mayor, and Mayor's your council. It's a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon. This workshop is a follow-up from the fall retreat. I have a lot to cover, but please feel free to stop me if you have any questions. And I've also printed out a copy of the presentation. So we're going to go over our department org chart, our economic development programs, the example recruitment project, tourism marketing programs, and ways that you can get involved. So this is the economic development and tourism team, as many of you know them already. On the left, you'll see Alba, who oversees economic development, business recruitment, retention, and expansion. She focuses on the implementation of the overall strategy, as well as a few key strategic projects. She's become our life science expert and is dedicated to making Track 2 a shovel-ready site. On the right, you see Allison Brooks, who oversees our Visit Sugar Land tourism sales efforts and the marketing division. This division does support economic development and tourism as well. Similarly, she focuses on the implementation of the overall strategy and a few key strategic projects. Those being the tourism and sports feasibility study, which includes a 5-year plan for tourism and the overall oversight of all things FIPA. And then I'll be going over the rest of the team further on. So the Act of 1979 granted cities the ability to go to the voters and request the use of sales tax revenue to fund economic development projects and focusing on the creation of retention of their employers and jobs. So why did they do that? Because economic development is a cycle that feeds itself. When we attract good jobs and destination venues like concerts, sports, and conferences, people come to Sugar Land, and people need places to stay and places to live, which drives demand for housing. As residents, businesses, and visitors spend their money here, the spending generates sales tax, property tax, and hotel occupancy tax. Those revenues go back into our community, which fund police, fire, parks, and other quality of life amenities. The stronger our services and amenities are, the more attractive our city becomes to businesses, residents, and visitors. That brings in even more jobs and venues, and the cycle continues. For Sugar Land, these efforts began in 1993 when the voters chose to approve the allocation of 1/4 cent of every sales tax dollar to the SLDC, and the board is comprised of the 7 members of City Council. So how can these funds be used? To name a few, we have our cash grants, which is also our incentives. We can spend it on infrastructure that helps promote businesses to locate or grow within our community, airport facilities, and marketing, just to name a few. Type A, EDCs are authorized by law to raise funds beyond just the sales tax they collect. They can issue bonds, notes, or enter into contracts to finance large projects. This allows the corporation to undertake bigger economic development initiatives without waiting to accumulate cash from sales tax revenue. An example is when the voters approved the issuance of debt from 4A to fund Smart Financial Center. So why do we have incentives? Sugar Land uses incentives to attract and retain our primary employers, as well as respond to high impact opportunities in real time. When analyzing an opportunity, we look at the job creation, capital investment, and the industry that they operate within. These funds help level the playing field when we're competing with other cities and states. And all incentives go through a performance-based agreement and SLDC approval for accountability. Further diving into our programs, I want to introduce you to Jennifer Alexander, our business retention manager, and Colby Millenbrook, who's our business recruitment manager. When the team is analyzing a project for Sugar Land, we focus on our targeted industries that were updated in 2022. These were chosen because we already have an existing ecosystem and can further build off of it. Workforce has been and continues to be a driving factor for companies choosing a location as well as the available real estate. When we updated the study, life sciences and tourism were the two industries that were it. As I mentioned before, workforce is a top priority. We are fortunate to have a very educated workforce. In fact, we have about 500,000 people that live within a 30-minute drive time of Sugar Land that have a bachelor's degree or higher. This sets us apart in the metro and in the state, and a few other key strengths are our proximity to the med center, airports, and a global market. Even with all of our strengths, though, we still have challenges. We have limited land and regulations, perception of natural disasters because of our location, and this is improving, but the lack of consistent collaboration between the cities, the regions, and the state can be challenging as well. In FY25, we landed 2 projects with a total capital investment of $319 million, 650 retained jobs, 500 new jobs, and we had 23 active projects. And we did not submit a response for 78% of our leads due to not having the right real estate or the project not being in one of our target industries. There we go. With the historical data we pulled from CoStar, Salesforce, and other tools, we have developed an office infill strategy to get our office buildings full again. This is something we've already been focusing on, but we'll be bringing forward a formal program for approval and consideration. In addition, as we continue to build off the work with Plug and Play and focus on bringing innovation to Sugar Land, the team will be bringing forward an innovation program for consideration as well. For FY26, these will be our 3 main focus areas above and beyond our normal operations. The additional area is in track 2, or the central prison site, as it gets closer to being shovel ready. Retaining an existing business is a lot easier than attracting new ones, which is why we have always had a strong focus on it. This fiscal year, Jennifer will conduct 40 formal site visits and host 4 roundtables with industry and 4 realtor groups like the recent office roundtables. One thing to note is that we track the 40 visits, but our team, myself included, engages with and meets with businesses all the time. We do track these activities in Salesforce, which is our CRM system, but it doesn't go towards the overall goal. Well, when we host the company in the suite, or when we have a call from a company who's going through the permitting process and has a quick question, we connect them with other departments. So we track all of our interactions with our businesses, but not all of them are formal business retention and expansion meetings. So as track 2 gets closer to being shovel ready, and we have our continued focus on our office infill strategy, we are ramping up our recruitment efforts. The team, Colby, Alba, and I will be traveling to at least 3 conferences and recruitment missions with the Great Lakes Partnership and/or the Texas Economic Development. We will also be working on 40 non-Sugar Land businesses and realtors, developers, and site selectors. So yesterday, we officially launched our new 3-year marketing campaign, Ready for Something Sweeter. This is important because marketing creates visibility, shapes perception, and drives leads by putting Sugar Land in front of the right audiences. Strategic efforts from targeting advertising and high-quality collateral to strong digital engagement position Sugar Land as a competitive, credible, investment-ready. Earned media amplifies this impact by providing trusted third-party validation, expanding our reach, and enhancing reputation without the cost of paid ads. Together, these tools attract new businesses, investors, and talent. The campaign highlights how Sugar Land is positioning itself for strong, future-focused economic growth by elevating local business leaders, showcasing focused leadership, training, and leveraging the city's strategic advantages, such as its location, workforce, infrastructure, and partnerships. It emphasizes accelerating momentum in redevelopment and innovation, calls on investors and corporate leaders to engage in what's next, and ties everything back to the Sweeter With You message that you'll hear more about later, that underscores how businesses and communities thrive together. This is a quick glimpse at some of the collateral that developed in the campaign. You can also see some of the metrics we track and how well some of our LinkedIn posts have been doing. Now, I'm gonna walk you through the example project. So when working a project, we go through several steps to determine if they are the right fit for Sugar Land. First, lead generation occurs through various channels, including regional partners like the Greater Houston Partnership, the Governor's Office, site selectors, conferences, direct outreach with businesses themselves. Then we collect essential project information such as space requirements, employment projections, average wages, their utility needs, their timelines, and their capital investment plans. Once we have this information, we will do a search and match the company's requirements with available properties through databases like CoStar and LoopNet. We leverage our broker networks, our city-owned sites are considered, and our developer. For Project Siren, they contacted us in November 2023 about relocating 286 employees to Sugar Land with an average of 71,000 wage and 4 million in capital investment. This led to identifying 150,000 square foot property at 1410 Gillingham in the business park as a potential match for them. Next, we prepare a proposal for submission. This package highlights Sugar Land strengths, including qualifying sites, a general community overview and demographics, our workforce, education pipeline and infrastructure, utilities, transportation, etc. Once we've submitted a proposal, it can take weeks, months, and even years to hear back. Once we do, we hopefully have been shortlisted and work with scheduling a tour and a site visit. Similar to what you experienced during your orientation, the site visit will showcase the properties, our workforce assets, quality of life, and community advantages. It can be partners such as University of Houston Sugar Land or other employers, and even touring homes. Once the company submits an incentive application, we run an economic impact on the project, and we examine the return on investment, evaluate potential incentive options depending on the guidelines, and this involves internal review with FECODev and City Manager's Office. For Project Siren, we did bypass the formal RFP process due to it being a direct lead. We conducted a site visit with the company representative and CEO of the state of Texas so they could help us address the building permit issue since this was the former Thermo Fisher site. And ultimately, we secured a 10-year, $540,000 incentive agreement that tied jobs, wages, capital investment, and lease commitments. So once we have the potential terms of the agreement, the city's legal team drafts the performance agreement with specific metrics and clawback provisions. The company reviews and formally signs, committing to maintain performance standards. After approval, the city countersigns to make the agreement legally effective. To get the final agreement terms, the agreement will go through several approval channels. First being the Economic Development Committee, comprised of 3 members of the City Council, then the City Council executive session, then formal offer is sent to the company. The SLDC will workshop it if we need to, and then final SLDC board approval. The final step is the continued compliance for the term of the agreement, which is typically 10 years. The company submits annual compliance documentation, including Texas Workforce Commission reports, payroll data, capital investment proof, and upon verification of compliance, incentive payments are released annually or according to the agreement's payment structure. The ultimate approval process can move quickly, but can take time depending on the company and the fine-tuning of the agreement. For Project Siren, we went to EDC in February 24, executive session in February of 24, and the SLDC approved it in March of 2024. The company moved into their building this October, and with anticipate production beginning in January. So for FY26 so far this year, we're 2 months in. We've got 2 active projects and a total of about 25 leads. Obviously, Sugar Land is on the map because that's where some of our active projects are. So the next few slides I'm going to go over. It's just an example of what information is put into our RFPs when we are sending them out to hopefully bring a new business to Sugar Land. So workforce will always be and continue to be top of mind. So we talk about how many jobs we have per industry. Then we break it down further by percentages and growth over time. Then we also like to highlight, and we're excited to be able to promote our 4-year institutions and our 2-year institutions that we work with on a regular basis. So as everyone in the state of Texas likes to say, it's not bragging if it's true. The governor's office says it all the time. So the other thing we also like to promote in there is all of our rankings. We continue to get listed in different publications, and so we're always trying to update this and making sure that people are aware of what a great city we are. Here's another example of that. Okay, any other questions before I move on to tourism?
I have actually two questions. On the total job, you mentioned that current jobs as of number. What is the trend over the last 4 or 5 years? On an average, we have growth and what percentage growth?
So those, are you talking about the?
Yeah, so this is 2024,
Right,
but what is the trend? I am more interested in 23 to 24.
it's been steadily in flux. But I don't know the exact percentage.
Is there something you can get to council maybe later, last 5 years trend? Second,
Go ahead.
I have a question on plug and play. So when we gave the incentive to plug and play, the expectation was that the startup that they will inculcate will be possibly in Sugarland. But I think they have done 10 or so and none of them in Sugarland so far. So can you discuss with them that why the startups are not happening in Sugarland, even though plug and play is in Sugarland, but all the startups are happening in Houston?
So it takes time. I mean, kind of going through the recruitment process, like it can take years from start to finish. And so we have done several different pitches to the startups. So Plug and Play has this, it's called the playbook. And so we have the list of startups in there. They have the list of all the venture capitals and then the corporate partners. And so they've actually been putting together pitches, opportunities for the team, not only for the people that are going through the accelerator batch program and getting exposure to Sugarland that way, but getting exposure to any startup that is in their system that says that they're interested in potentially moving to Sugarland. So
My question was that they have done 10 startups successfully, but
They've
none
done-
of them happened in Sugarland.
they've done 2 batches. So it's an accelerator program. So it's about 12 weeks. And so they get 10 to 12 startups each time. And then they start the process. They do mentorship. They expose them to venture capitalists. They help kind of go through some beta testing that they need to, depending on what their product is. And then they do the final pitch, which I believe some of y'all were at the final pitch, where they hopefully get additional investment. So have any of the companies that have gone through our batches located in Sugarland? They're not. But because Plug and Play is here, they are actually in the process of moving into a bigger office space. And we have 2 corporate partners who are, one of them is local, who has a operation in the business park, who is looking to co-locate with them, which is bringing their research and development facility from Dallas to Sugarland. And then there's another company in downtown Houston who is also interested in moving down here and relocating. So ideally, yes, we would like to get startups, but ultimately the corporate partners are a lot bigger and have more potential, but it'll take time.
Any other question?
Yeah, so follow up to Sandy's question on this slide, is this looking at Sugarland as a whole, as in just the city limits, is looking at the ETJ, is it looking at like a 30-mile radius? What do we define here as the Sugarland workforce?
So for this slide specifically, we do look at the city limits itself. But we do have the capability to do the drive time. We can even do the county, even the region, because depending on, and it depends on the lead. So if they are say they're a manufacturer, we're gonna showcase the number of potential employees that they could have within a 30-minute to 50-minute drive time. I mean, sometimes we even use the metro numbers depending on what it is. But this is just for us to also keep track of what is happening within our city limits.
Suzanne?
So Elizabeth, you mentioned track 2 a few times, and I know we're going to get into that really deeper as time goes on. But looking at that, we have healthcare and social assistance employment. Are we going to focus track 2 on that industry? Or are we going to diversify track 2? And you're smiling because you
We will be bringing that to y'all here soon. So that is a question, a policy decision for the city council to make. And so we're, as we get closer to being shovel ready, we will be bringing forward the next phase of plans for y'all.
excited. Thank you.
Me too.
You guys have questions before we?
Yeah, a couple for clarification, on slide 29, I think it's the next one. Walk us through, is this growth? Or is this total numbers? What am I looking at here?
This is the percentage growth based off of the, like, these numbers. These are the actual number of jobs within the city for that industry. And then this is the growth for that sector since 2019 to 2024. So it's like talking about the 5-year growth. This is our 5-year growth.
Right, so the numbers are growth, but the bar chart is also growth, or is that total numbers?
It's the percentage growth.
So then 29 is based off of what? I think that's what's confusing me in this graph here.
So it's not starting from zero because 65% growth, but if you look at the bar, it looks like 5 times.
Yeah.
Which can't be true. So it's not starting from zero, maybe it's. You see, the blue can't be number in 19 and green can't be number in 24. Because if that was true, it is 500%.
See how for construction, there's only 7% growth. So this is probably that 5% line, and then it only grew by 2%, which is showing the difference between the blue and the green.
The dark blue number is growth in 2019.
Correct.
I'm asking. Yeah, okay.
Is it,
And
is the
the
blue,
green number is growth since 2019.
is the blue the actual numbers, and then the green is the actual numbers?
It's the percentages.
These are percentages.
Lots of fun ways to break out this data, so we can do both.
I have a suggestion, just a fifth one. If you can provide last 5 years number, that will just make it clear.
Clarify.
With the previous slide, it looks like the number in 24 is around 42,000. If you go back the previous slide, sum of all that is around 42,000. So it would be good to see what were the total jobs in 19.
And to be clear, this is also not the full picture of all the jobs in Sugar Land, because this does not include schools, teachers, any of that kind of academic support. It doesn't include every single industry. So we really focus on making sure that companies see the opportunity of the employment within sectors in our targeted industries or where they are located, like what industry they are in.
As long as you keep the comparison like to like, in whatever you count in 19, you count in 24, then the numbers will be comparable.
That's correct.
Okay. Are you ready to move on to tourism? Everybody, good?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Two more.
Oh, you got more?
Yeah, two more.
Oh.
Since we're jumping to tourism, I'll stick on this topic. So then, what kind of collaboration, if you want to talk about how we're collaborating with the county and the state when it comes to business retention or recruitment? I want to cover that topic real quick.
So when it comes to collaboration on recruitment, the Greater Houston Partnership does familiarization tours. So that's where they bring site selectors to Houston. And then we will partner with them on those. And they will, obviously they have a very large region to cover, so we won't get a snippet of that, but we do participate in the whole tour. And then they also do outbound missions. So most recently they announced that with after the draw party on Friday, when we find out what countries are coming to Sugar Land, to Houston, keep saying Sugar Land, what countries are coming to Houston for the FIFA, they are gonna actually pick 2 of those countries to go and do a fam tour or site visit over there to welcome them to Houston, so that those countries and those communities will feel welcome here. And that is something we would hopefully be able to participate with as well. But they do mostly domestic missions, so they go to high cost markets like Boston and San Francisco, Los Angeles, and to focus on site consultants as well as corporations. And then the governor's office is they are not allowed to market the state. So they have a separate entity called Texas Economic Development Corporation, which is a 501c3 that has a board that is economic development and private industry. And so that entity will also travel, but they bring the governor or sometimes lieutenant governor, depending on the situation, with them to travel to the similar domestic markets. Very much they'll focus either on manufacturing, certain industries, and or certain people. So we work with them and go on those trips.
And then final question related, is our main goal here is to retain, attract, and expand? So how do we both define and measure our performance over the years?
So we track it by number of jobs, the average salaries, and the capital investment of projects that we have incentivized. So obviously there are companies that move here all the time, like Wonton Foods in the business park. We helped them, we worked through that as a recruitment project, but they didn't need an incentive. And so we don't track that one as a success because they did not get an incentive agreement with us. But so we track those three mostly over time. Because we have such limited real estate in 2024, fiscal year 24, we had zero. We had no net jobs, no capital investment because we didn't have any projects. But the year before that, we had some jobs and some announced projects.
The numbers that you can provide for us, like over the last, say, 10 years,
10 years?
5 or 10, yeah. Okay.
Okay, ready to go to tourism?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so I know you've heard this before, but I'm gonna go over it again. We're the official destination management organization, or the DMO, for Sugar Land, which means we serve as the city's tourism arm. Our purpose is to attract visitors to the city, help create a positive experience once they're here. Our goal is to generate hotel occupancy tax and sales tax from visitors. We then work to reinvest those funds back into our tourism economy and continue the cycle of economic development. HOT funding is guided by state statute, ensuring that we align with our core mission of reinvesting back into our partners and support our tourism economy. So how do we do that? We do it by marketing Sugar Land as a great place to visit for unique experiences. We partner with our key venues, hotels, and businesses to attract larger audiences. We help plan and support conferences and events that benefit our hotels and our local attractions. Overall, our purpose is to increase economic impact by increasing hotel stays, setting up local businesses, and showcasing Sugar Land as a premier destination. Our hotel demand trends have continued to increase since 2022. In 2023, we gained momentum and surpassed our pre-pandemic levels. Over the past few years, the Houston region has seen significant growth in tourism, and Sugar Land's growth has followed suit. Visit nights are up 18%, reaching 1.3 million, and slot revenue has doubled over the last 3 years to more than 3 million. There was an article that was released yesterday, yesterday, in the HBJ that was talking about how 2025 has been more of a stagnant year for HOT growth for a Houston region, but obviously with FIFA and other events, they're expecting 2026 to be a big year for us.
Ask a question.
Yeah, sure.
Just real quick, what caused the drop there in October 24?
That COVID.
Or a peak.
July 24.
Where should it that drop from 140 down to 110?
Barrel. So we had an unexpected increase in HOT revenue and activation and occupancy because of Barrel. So that summer. So as part of the city's strategic action plan, we have 2 key tourism initiatives that relate to stimulating economic growth. We partnered with the consultant Hunden Partners to lead a comprehensive study that combines a sports tourism feasibility analysis with a 5-year strategic tourism plan. This joint effort between tourism and Parks and Rec, and the study kicked off in July and is expected to wrap up in early 2026. The purpose of this work is to evaluate Sugar Land's capacity and opportunities to expand into sports tourism and to create a strategic roadmap that supports the overall growth of our tourism economy. The study includes market research, benchmarking against our peer cities, and extensive stakeholder engagement. We've convened a stewardship committee of key staff and community partners to guide the process, and we're conducting focus groups and community surveys to gather input from a broader range of stakeholders, including young adults and local businesses. The findings will help us prioritize investments and define our tourism identity, our goal to make data-driven decisions that will support a sustainable, growing tourism economy for Sugar Land. Secondly, we are fully underway with our World Cup planning efforts. Friday, the final draw will take place. Hopefully, you're all able to join us. VSL has partnered with the Woodrows of Sugar Land, which in Houston, the Houston Host Committee is partnering with Little Woodrows and Edo. So we're mimicking what they're doing to host a community watch party celebration and trigger the match schedule, which will be released between December 5th and December 6th. And we expect this to trigger our hotel bookings. So we're just right at the right time where now that they know the countries and we're 6 months out, that people would probably start booking their hotels. During the same time frame, BSL will be launching our World Cup microsite on our BSL website, which is created to highlight Sugar Land's FIFA World Cup programming, our watch parties and itineraries, and official hotels. In spring 26, you can expect to learn more about the watch parties, the volunteer opportunities, and the official host city partnered events in Sugar Land. So for FY 26, We've significantly increased our industry presence through enhanced student profile, and increased usage of Simple View, active participation in networking events, and representation at key trade shows like Southwest Showcase and Destination Southwest, as well as advocacy conferences such as Destination Texas. The increase in lead volume has directly resulted in room nights. Strengthening our hotel relationships has also led to greater involvement in client site visits and in turn, higher conversion and return rates of conferences. By supporting our groups, we're boosting our destination awareness and reinforcing Visit Sugar Land's value to planners. Our strong client relationships foster transparency and open communication, allowing us to deliver better service and resolve issues proactively. Our venues have shared their main goals, and we focus on ensuring our day-to-day efforts support their goals. We work closely with them and collaborate often on activations to increase their audience reach through marketing and PR, public relations. We also help pitch our venues to customers who have never considered them in the past for private events, corporate and group bookings. Our digital marketing builds on our online presence and drives engagement across channels where audiences spend their time. It includes managing our own platforms, creating content, leveraging data and content to resonate with businesses, visitors, and residents. So this is the marketing team. It's led by Jordan Cutler, who's our senior marketing manager. We now have Olivia Valdez, who just joined us last month. She's in the back. We have not gotten her headshot yet. She is our digital marketing coordinator, and then Tajay Bird is just recently hired as our marketing and engagement coordinator, and he will be joining us starting next week. And then you know Emily Pollard as well. She's the communications manager for the Department of Redevelopment. So what does marketing do? This team elevates Sugar Land's brand as a premier destination by leading strategic data-driven campaigns focused on key audiences. The team uses authentic storytelling, unified messaging, and collaborative partnerships to create memorable, trend-responsive visitor experiences. They measure and report impact and importantly distinguish their role from the city's communications team by focusing on branding, tourism, and economic development rather than government or crisis communication. So who do we target? We look at corporate decision makers with targeted industries, developers, realtors, site selectors, our visitors, event producers, many meeting planners, and many more. So this slide will outline the full scope of Sugar Land's marketing and promotional toolkit across 4 key pillars. We've got public relations, advertising, sponsorship, and digital and general marketing. Public relations includes media pitching, thought leadership, familiarization tours, press outreach, and news coverage. Advertising covers our search engine optimization, or SEO, digital ads, and out-of-home placements. We also have sponsorships that leverage conferences, events, and partnerships to build awareness at local, regional, and national levels. We have digital general marketing, which encompasses our website management, social media, email marketing, and the development of one-pagers and other content as it's needed. Together, these pillars demonstrate a comprehensive multi-channel approach to elevating Sugar Land's brand and its reach. So this also officially launched yesterday. Our tourism campaign, Sweeter With You, is a campaign that is centered around storytelling, leaning into the people of Sugar Land, celebrating our diversity, showcasing our residents, our businesses, and community who bring our culture and energy to life. This campaign's goals are to position Sugar Land as Houston's best suburb by showcasing regional diversity, our hidden gems, our vibrant local businesses, and unique experiences. The message highlights inclusive community spirit, distinctive dining and shopping, dynamic festivals, and the city's connection to the diversity of Fort Bend County, all tied to the Ready for Something Sweeter theme that emphasizes the shared growth and a bright future being built right now. Going into our sales. This is Alyssa Zola. She is our sales and events manager, if you've not met her yet. Currently, she manages the full sales life cycle from attracting business to servicing events once they're. This graph represents the 2 sides of tourism sales. In order to economic development, we must attract and land the client and then service them when they are here, hoping for return business if it goes well. Prospecting is our proactive efforts at the start of the sales process that create the awareness of our destination. By identifying the right groups that match our hotel package, destination strengths, and more, We do utilize a platform called Mint, which provides verified conference history and planner contacts, allowing us to take a targeted approach. By attending trade shows and conferences, we also create destination approachability, awareness, and build relationships that ultimately help generate new leads. So for RFPs, they come to us through different channels, just like in economic development. We have digital platforms like Cvent, direct planner outreach, referrals from Visit Houston, trade shows, and through our website. A recent increase in visibility on Cvent has allowed us to generate more RFPs. FY 25, we received a total of 142 leads. I'm now going to walk you through the steps once we've received a qualified lead. Once we receive an RFP, qualification step is key. We connect with the planner as quickly as possible to understand the group's goals, dates, space needs, budget, and attendee profile. Building rapport is key in the process by engaging with the customer as quickly as possible, and we show we are eager to work hard for their business. This is where we determine whether the program is the right fit for our hotels and how we can position Sugar Land as the best destination. Planners can often share more with a CVB than with a hotel because they know that we have their best interests in mind. This also allows us to prepare the hotels better so their proposal are as accurate and competitive as possible. The decision timeline for meetings can vary significantly, sometimes days, but often months throughout this period. We stay actively engaged, keeping a pulse on their decision-making process with updated information and ensuring Sugar Land stays top of mind. This consistent communication is one of the biggest contributors to closing business. So the site visit. The site visit is typically the most influential moment in the planner's decision. If Visit Sugar Land is not involved, planners only see the hotel. They miss the experience of the city and unaware of the resources beyond the four walls of the property. When we are involved, we elevate the experience from an airport pickup to curated tours, off-site dining, entertainment venues, and hospitality touches. This is where planners truly understand what makes Sugar Land unique. Recently, Visit Houston referred a high-value lead from American Chemical Society, an association with strong potential for recurring meetings in Sugar Land. The planner was already in Houston for a personal conference and requested both a proposal and an in-person site visit within 24 hours. Because of our partnership with Visit Houston, we were able to move immediately. We shared the RFP with the hotel the same day, secured a proposal turnaround overnight, and confirmed a site visit in the following morning. Visit Sugar Land coordinated all of the logistics, transportation, a personalized swag bag, and curated destination experience. We conducted a walking tour of Town Square, showcased off-site dining and immersion opportunities, and outlined how our team could support their goals as well beyond the hotel stay. As a result, the Houston Marriott Sugar Land was officially shortlisted for the group's 2028 program, an outcome driven largely by Visit Sugar Land's rapid response and destination level support. The hotel's sole responsibility was the proposal and leading the property tour, and VSL handled the rest.
Suzanne has a question, please.
Going back to that last slide, thank you. That's impressive, the Visit Sugar Land, that's very impressive. It's probably also very intensive for staff. So my question is, do we have a point that we need to trigger to do that? I mean, do we have to have substantial investment from whoever we're showing these things to? Do we look at, I mean, we don't do that for just everybody. So what is that trigger that gets us involved to that degree?
Would have to be like a conference that would sell out potentially the whole Marriott on the street that would be able to have I know that Alyssa tracks like a number of hotel nights, so it's not just the one night for the conference, but how many hotel nights do we get over the time period that they will be here? And then the potential economic impact.
So basically, I just want to make it understand they're vetted to make sure that when we're investing our time and efforts and wooing them here, that they have a potential benefit financially for our city or otherwise.
Absolutely.
Okay.
These are only potential clients whose RFP we've answered, right? Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Of course. So after the site visit, we send planners tailored tools, photos, comparisons, maps, budgets, etc., so they can easily sell Sugar Land to their decision makers. So not only for that one conference, but then for multiple conferences as well. Decision timelines vary based on the board's budgets, competing priorities, so our role is to stay engaged and keep the process moving toward contract. Once contracted, the group moves from into servicing, where we shift from selling the vision to supporting execution and ensuring a smooth event experience. And now I will walk you through the client services lifecycle. Our planning support is designed to make every program smooth and tailored to each group's goals. We assist with customized needs such as group ticketing at Constellation Field, themed events like poker nights, by connecting planners and trusted rental decor partners and coordinating off-site receptions and at venues like Tallyard. We also help organize dine-arounds by walking directly with restaurants and encouraging top-tier hospitality. Through our Show Your Badge program, we prepare participating retailers, share group demographics, and provide all materials and instructions for attendees. We act as the liaison between planners and local businesses, so the program feels turnkey and impactful. To elevate the event attendee experience, we design, print, and manage lobby signage. We prepare custom welcome materials, plan itineraries, and connect planners with vetted local resources. Overall, our job is to reduce their planner workload, enhance the visitor experience, and ensure Sugar Land shines as a destination. During the event, we check in with the planner and the hotel to resolve any issues before they escalate. This protects the attendee experience and helps maintain the hotel's reputation. It also reinforces that Sugar Land is invested in the success of their event. Earlier this year, we hosted the Texas District and County Attorneys Association, a group that produces more than 10 major conferences annually and signs multi-year program contracts with hotels that exceed their expectations. During their stay, they experienced several significant service issues. Because of the relationship, though, that we've built throughout the sales and planning process, the client was comfortable sharing concerns with the team. Visit Sugar Land immediately relayed the feedback to the hotel and worked with their team to address issues before attendees checked out, protecting both the guest experience and the hotel's reputation overall. After the event, we partnered with the hotel to the structured follow-up meeting, ensuring all unresolved concerns were addressed and had clear solutions. Throughout the process, Visit Sugar Land served as an advocate for the client and for the hotel. Our daily on-site presence and trusted relationship with the client were critical. Without that connection, we risk losing future RFPs already in progress, and instead, the group left feeling heard, supported, and confident in Sugar Land as a host destination.
I have a question, please. Is the Marriott the only hotel for which we're doing marketing? Are we filling other hotels?
Well, it just depends on the booking. So sometimes the Marriott may not be able to accommodate everything, and so we'll partner with the Courtyard or other hotels as well. It just depends on the group's room rate. Like, they may not be able to afford the Marriott. There's lots of different factors that go into it. But we do have relationships with all of our hotels. So after the event concludes, we gather the hotel pickup report to understand how many guest rooms they actualized, update our CRM, and enter this data into our economic impact calculator. We also follow up with the planner to thank them and encourage them to consider us for future opportunities. This step closes the loop on the event while also building long-term relationships, and it shows we care about them throughout the entire process, not just into securing their business. So why does all of this matter? If the planner and the visitor have a good experience, it will increase local spending and lead to repeat business for Sugar Land. So any questions on that before I move on to the last part?
So when does the conference get involved with the city versus going straight to the hotel and, working with them on an event?
Say that again.
In what scenarios would a conference come to the city first versus going straight to the hotel to kind of work things out? Like, it's not like you guys are in the hospitality business in a sense. Like, it's making sure that their needs are taken care of, right?
Right.
And that reflects on the reputation of the city and the hotel, obviously. So, are we involved in most conferences, all of them, 20%? What does that look like?
I don't have the exact numbers. We have also pivoted since we've hired Alyssa to have a more proactive tourism effort than we had before in the past. In the past, it was really focused on special events and bringing events to the festival site and managing that permitting process, which was very time consuming. And so I don't have as much historical data, But what we use is Cvent and other tools to help us vet different, either producers themselves or planners and or the actual conventions themselves.
To follow up on that, how do you encourage that whoever's planning that event, how do you encourage them to come to you instead of the hotel directly?
So that's where we go to conferences and we have personal relationships with the different event producers and event planners. And also through our relationships with Visit Houston, we get some of those direct leads. So kind of like with on the economic development side, we work with our local businesses. It's similar on their side where we're actively engaging with those event producers, event planners.
Do the hotels work with you, or do they rather the customer come directly to them?
I mean, I think it depends. We have had to build our rapport with them and show that we are here to help and not to steal the business and send it to a different hotel. And so it's taken time for us to build those relationships. It's also hard when the hotels have such turnover on their side, but we stay very engaged with them. But they have learned to see us as a partner and not as a competitor. And like we do, kind of like we had the FIFA 101 event, we've done like roundtables with our hotel partners and even expanded that beyond just hotels so that they can continue to get to know us. What can we do? How do we help? It's all about building those relationships and maintaining them.
I have a request / suggestion, which is not directly involved, but can help tourism and economic development. So one of the key thing for city is the connectivity. I'm referring to cell phone connectivity. And in Sugarland, somehow it is notorious to not having good cell phone connectivity. Can something be done? It will help tourism. It will help economic development. If we can work somehow to improve the cell phone connectivity.
Well, that's an active project that Public Works is working on. I don't know the status of it. I know we were talking to them about a site next to Smart Financial, but I don't have an update on
I
that.
just wanted to pass that,
Yeah.
and leave the details with Public Works.
I will
Pass the
tell
message.
you, Colby and I were at Industrial Asset Management Council Conference last month or in October. And it was refreshing, but also concerning that we're not the only community experiencing the struggles with cell phone connectivity and with power, especially with all these mega data center projects across the country. We're not alone.
Okay, get involved.
So how can y'all get involved? So as you know, we already have opportunities to host in the suites with whether it be Smart Financial or Constellation Field. So please continue to do that and stay engaged with our businesses, ask them questions, get to know them. They really enjoy having counsel in the suite and getting to know them better, getting to know y'all better. We also have ribbon cuttings that we aren't aware of all of them. The chamber does not host cuttings for every business unless they are a chamber member. But as we do get invited, we encourage y'all to come and be there to support those local businesses as well. And then we are a member of the chamber, the Fort Bend Chamber of Commerce. And so they have lots of luncheons and events. I know y'all are pretty active there as well, but continue to help us attend those events and share the Sugarland message. And then will not hear me say this enough, but I can never say this enough. Please follow us on our social media channels and share our news that help us continue to spread the word about Sugarland. Y'all are ambassadors. So the new opportunities that we're gonna have is there's an annual business walk that we're gonna launch next year. We did a pilot version of it last year in May and it went really, really well and had a great turnout. We learned from that experience as well. And so next year it'll be in October, but we're gonna pick a different area of the city and we will invite all of council, city management, and city staff to participate as well. It's just a great opportunity to tell businesses, hi, we see you, we know you, what's going well, what isn't going well, what would you like to see different? And then we also have all of the FIFA events and attendance and key messaging. So please help us continue to come to our events and help share the messaging as it gets released. And then we're also going to do quarterly business retention visit opportunities. So as Jen is going out and securing her formal business retention visits with businesses, we're going to be inviting y'all to join us quarterly on those. Any questions?
Yes.
Yep.
When we talk about business retention, the impression I get, so correct me if I'm wrong, impression I get is our focus is on our large employers, which they should obviously be a focus. But we have an awful lot of small businesses in this town. And as we all know, we hear everywhere, the small business is the backbone of our country. That's no different here in Sherman. What are we going to help those guys stay in business? We all drive around and see these half-empty food centers. So what are we doing to help them so that they can be successful and continue to thrive?
So are you speaking retail specific?
Yes.
So that's where our tourism arm really comes in, but it's a balance for us because we also have to make sure that, you know, we want people to have unique experiences, something that they can't necessarily find anywhere else. So we're not gonna necessarily be advocating for the Chili's over Thai Thumbs or something like that. But on the tourism side, that's where our social media is very important, where we're going out to those businesses, getting to know them. We get to know their marketing teams because especially if they're smaller companies, they don't have a marketing team. They don't have someone that's out there able to shoot the social media. I will tell you, Flippin' Patties though, if you don't follow them and haven't been there, they have a very funny, they are doing a great job on social media.
Delivery patties?
Yeah.
I heard that.
But they're doing a great job. So, but yeah, it's a difficult balance for us, and that on the economic development side, we really focus on the larger employers because they have a heavier economic impact. And if they bring employers here, just like filling these office buildings, our retail down here is going to feel the impact of that. Okay. Last but not least, as I mentioned earlier, these are the links that you now have printed out and our social media groups that you can follow us. And by doing this, you are an ambassador for Sugar Land and help us amplify our campaign.
Any other questions, additional questions, Brad?
One more comment. If you could cue us in on the overall strategy for when we invite whether businesses or partners out to, whether it's the baseball game or Smart Financial, just cueing in on what the state objective is for those meetings. And then some feedback is also follow up and make sure that they show up. I know in some cases I've gone and nobody was there. Just to make sure we have the right people in the room. And then even sending them like a schedule, so they know to show up early if we are having dinner there or not. That way, because once the concert starts, no chance of talking. A little bit different than the baseball games. At the baseball games, I've been there, I've never even looked at the field before. You know, where you can just talk with the people in the club. So just a little bit of feedback to make things go smoother and get more value out of it.
No, I 100% agree. It is very difficult for us. We do send a lot of reminders to be there an hour early for Smart Financial specifically, to be there early, that we do have drinks and beverages available for them. But a lot of people want to have that experience of going out to eat and then showing up. And so that it's a balance. We do remind, I promise you, we do remind them. We will do better about making sure y'all are ready and armed for what your role is in engaging with those different businesses. I will say I've had 2 experiences in the last almost 8 years where the group that was at Smart Financial has been engaged and not actually watched the show. And so it's rare. It's a very different dynamic of interaction at Smart Financial versus Constellation Fields. Another part is, you know, we have the guest list, we harass them incessantly and we don't always get them, but it is something that we do try very hard to make sure that we do get the C-suite there and that we have the right, the audience, but sometimes it's out of our control.
To follow up on his point, that's excellent. A lot of times we're there, we're expecting the principals to come and they've given the tickets away to their kids. And we're like, they have no interest and we are all armed and ready to talk business and they're just not there. So,
And so we're tracking the no-shows and that kind of stuff as well, because we now have the ability with ATG to see who scans in or to see what ticket scans in, not necessarily the person's name. And so we also monitor that. And so when we have a company who 2 years in a row has requested tickets and didn't show up, or they sent it to, you know, Bob Smith down the street, we make sure they come off of our list and they don't come back.
Anybody else? Any other questions? Elizabeth, thank you so much for that. And while you're standing there, item number 6, Director's Report. Elizabeth Huff.
Here we go.
Is there anything left to say?
I mean, this is very like up to date what's going on. So We attended the 2025 State of the Healthcare event by the Fort Bend Chamber. We also had the development team work with Reeby's to host the Sugarland Town Square Dining Tour for our local business leaders. The event highlighted 4 restaurants and showcased their private rooms and packages. Again, that is trying to make sure that they keep their business here in Sugarland. We get the FNB sales tax, mixed use beverage tax versus it going into Houston. The team also attended the 18th Annual State of the Schools hosted by Fort Bend Chamber. And then we go to these events to strengthen our strategic relationships and keep staff informed of regional activity, allowing us to stay visible, connected, and proactive in Sugarland. We also had the State of the Texas Medical Center. The Sugarland Economic Development Corporation proudly participated as a platinum sponsor. The sponsorship not our visibility, but also strengthened our standing in the vibrant life science and healthcare ecosystem. We had the privilege of hosting key players in biomedical innovation, such as Lavardi Therapeutics, Houston Methodist, and Shanghai Model Organisms. This demonstrates our unwavering support for industry engagement and innovation in our region. Additionally, we attended the ribbon cutting for Texas State Technical College's new Transportation Center of Excellence. These initiatives reflect our dedication to fostering a robust, innovative, and skilled community within Sugarland. Then the team also attended the IAMC I mentioned earlier, which drew several hundred attendees for panels, roundtables, keynotes, and networking focused on navigating and excelling in today's volatile commercial real estate market. Colby attended economics, which brought together more than 24 site selectors to talk about current market trends and how to make your communities stand out. Colby was able to meet with over 12 site selectors while there and strengthen existing relationships and build new ones. The Plug and Play Summit we just got back from last week, brought together thousands of startups and corporates to showcase new and emerging technologies. There were sessions on emerging technologies, market trends, and even economic development panel that I spoke on. Jay Neal from UH attended with us and he helped us represent Sugarland. On the tourism side, Enhancing Skills for Life hosted their annual Skills for Life program in Sugarland for the first time in many years. The group hosted over 110 individuals living with both arms or all 4 limbs. This was their largest attendance ever. The group picked up almost 200 more guest rooms than they originally contracted and generated over $200,000 in economic impact. Their attendees came from all over the world and we were able to support with providing transportation, company recommendations, promotional items, and activated our Show Your Badge program. The Texas Association of School Psychologists hosted their annual conference at the Marriott November 6th through 8th and brought over 400 attendees, generated over 330 guest rooms, and created an economic impact of over $150,000. We supported them with destination information, Show Your Badge program, and are looking to bring them back for 2028, which is their next open year. Visit Sugarland also hosted a fam tour with Cosmo Cool Concepts, the longest standing destination management company in Houston, to deepen their understanding of Sugarland's hospitality assets. While they support Constellation with on-field activations, they weren't fully familiar with what Sugarland offers. During the tour, we showcased venues including Talliard, our private dining options in Town Square, Sugar Creek Country Club, Go 8, the airport, and more. The experience equips their team to confidently sell Sugarland and accurately represent our offerings. With several of their international clients already asking about FIFA hospitality experiences, the FAM ensures Cosmo Cool Concepts is prepared to educate their clients. Visit Sugarland also hosted our first City Supporter FIFA 101 event, which many of you were at. Thank you for being there. And at the Seth Bent event venue. We welcomed over 100 tourism partners. Attendees gained a clear understanding of the 2026 World Cup, our host city supporter role, and ways they can tap into the excitement to elevate their own offerings. And in case you hadn't heard, Visit Sugarland was recently named as 2025 Convention South Reader's Choice Award winner, one of 71 recipients in Texas and 502 across the 16-state region. The South's leading meetings and events industry publication recognized us for highlighting top destinations, venues, and emerging trends. The award showcases our growing reputation as a premier meetings destination and reinforces the strength of our hospitality partners and service excellence. On team development, the Imperial Visioning workshops were executed, one of the most comprehensive outreach efforts to date. Our paid campaign included advertising with Community Impact newspaper and delivered 136,000 impressions, while earned media expanded our reach to more than 2.4 million people. On social media, Imperial content generated over 170,000 views through a series of videos, graphics, and more, showing strong community interest. We also connected directly with 10+ in-person engagement events, such as National Night Out, Better Block events, and more. And to increase visibility across the district, we placed 25 yard signs and 3 large banners in high traffic areas. Altogether, this outreach helped drive a strong turnout and reinforce the Imperial visioning process is truly community driven. More than 360 residents participated throughout the week. 60 completed post-event survey, giving us valuable insight into their experience and priorities. Feedback was overwhelmingly positive. Appreciated being included early and having space to share their ideas. Our next steps are to plan to have a report back from TPUDC in early December, and these results will be shared included in the RFQ and master developer selection process in early 2026. Again, follow us, stay engaged, share our information. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Good job.
Dr. Single, would you like to,
Motion to adjourn.
thank you, everybody. Thanks, everyone.